Hello guys, as usual, stay home, stay safe, and do Excel chemistry. Today we're going to talk about the similarities of boron and aluminium. It's a very short video, all the similarities in one go, and there is a task for you as well. Okay, that is you need to find for me the dissimilarities. Alright, so first talking about similarities. Similarities between boron and aluminium. Boron has the configuration. Here itself. Boron's configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Aluminium's configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p1. The reason why they are having similarities is you can see that in the last shell, in the nth shell, what is the nth shell in boron? The second shell. In the second shell, total number of electrons is nth shell. There are 3 electrons. Even in aluminium case, in the nth shell, the third shell, there are 3 electrons. Okay, so because of the 3 electrons present in the nth shell, they have the similarities. They are also having dissimilarities because the n-1 shell, in the n-1, this is the nth shell, n-1, this it has 2 electrons. This is the nth shell, n-1, this it has 8 electrons. Okay, n-1th shell has 2 electrons and n-1th shell has 8 electrons. So because of this reason, similarities, because of this reason, dissimilarities. Okay, so it's all because of the electronic configuration. Okay, so as far as similarities is concerned, as they have same number of electrons in the nth shell, they exist or they show similarities. Fine. And the following are the similarities, starting with valency. What do you say about the valency of boron? Boron or aluminium, the valency is 3. They are trivalent. All they are majorly they form trivalent compounds. Okay, so boron and aluminium forms trivalent compounds, and moreover the trivalent compounds are generally in covalent nature. Okay, so aluminium also forms the trivalent covalent nature. Actually, aluminium's case, it's a metal, right? So it forms electrovalent bond, but that electrovalent bond also has some covalency according to Fezan's rule. Okay, or I'll write it as Al plus 3 has small size and high positive charge density, the polarizing power is high. According to Fezan's rule. It's very clear. Okay, so because of the polarizing power, even though aluminum forms electrovalent bonds or ionic bonds, but the compounds of aluminum contains covalency. Okay, covalent nature. Fine. And why is that aluminum, even the metal, exhibiting the covalent nature? Because of one word, that is polarizing power, Fezan's rule. Okay, hope you are understanding this. Now talking about the Next one, that is oxidation states or oxidation number. As already know, it is having +3 oxidation state. Both of them has +3 oxidation number. You take any oxide, any like halide, the oxidation is what? +3. Okay, for example, B2O3 and Al2O3. Both of them has the oxidation state as +3 oxidation state. Okay, one important point is this. I'll write it in brackets like this. Boron has -3 oxidation state also. -3 oxidation state in metal borides or magnesium borides. You can call it as, best example is magnesium boride. Magnesium boride. In magnesium boride and in the metal borides, we find that boron can exhibit -3 oxidation state. Okay, do remember this very important point. In Mg3b2, boron's oxidation state is -3. Okay, then another one, that is a reaction with, or since we spoke about oxidation number, no, so let's talk about reducing nature. Both are very strong reducing agents. Strong reducing agents. What do I mean by strong reducing agents? I mean, for example, if I have the reactions like boron plus carbon dioxide, it can liberate the carbon, or it reacts with oxygen, B2O3 plus carbon. Similarly, aluminum also does the same. Aluminum when treated with carbon dioxide, it forms Al2O3 plus carbon. Similarly, let's say boron with silicon dioxide or boron with SiO2, aluminum also with SiO2, they form B2O3 plus silicon, Al2O3 plus silicon. So in other words, what we are able to see is these boron and aluminum can displace, or they get oxidized, causing the carbon to be reduced. Yes or no? So that's why they are called as good or strong reducing agents. Okay, then reaction with water. Reaction with water. In fact, both of them do react in steam. Both react with steam to liberate hydrogen gas. Okay, that is boron plus H2O. This is steam. We find B2O3 plus H2. Similarly, aluminum also, Al plus H2O, which is again steam, forms Al2O3 plus H2. So that's what reaction with water. Same with acid, like concentrated sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Okay, this also the same thing. We find like boron plus H2SO4 will form boric acid, H3BO3 plus, it liberates sulfur dioxide gas, and aluminum also liberates the sulfur dioxide gas, forming aluminum sulfate plus water. So on a whole, you can see like both of them liberates sulfur dioxide gas. So similar reaction. Okay, then reaction with alkali. With alkali. So what do you expect? We have seen this reaction a couple of times. They both, boron and aluminum, dissolve in the alkali and they liberate the hydrogen gas. Boron plus NaOH, I think in the very beginning class I have told. What does it form? Sodium borate, liberating H2 gas. With aluminum, even in the previous chapter we have studied this. Aluminum reacts with NaOH to form sodium aluminate. In fact, meta-aluminate, not just aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate. Do remember this formula and the name. Liberating H2. So both of them liberates H2 with the alkali. Both of them liberates the sulfur dioxide with the sulfuric acid. Both of them liberates the hydrogen gas with the steam. Okay. So you need to remember these points. Fine. Then reaction with oxygen. What would have happened if I heat boron plus O2 on heating at high temperatures like somewhere around 700 to 750 degrees Celsius, we find oxide B2O3. Similarly, aluminum on treating with oxygen around 800 to 850 degrees Celsius, we find Al2O3. B2, one important difference here itself I am telling you that B2O3 is acidic in nature. We have already studied this. Al2O3 is amphoteric in nature. What do you mean by amphoteric? Both can react with acids and base. Then with chlorine, I'll take next page. So reaction with chlorine. So boron and aluminum reacts with or chlorine vapors when passed on boron, which is hot boron or heated boron. Okay, cool boron no reaction. Hot boron, it causes the reactivity to be increased and you find like BCl3 formed. Same with aluminum. Al plus Cl2, hot Al will form aluminum chloride. What is the oxidation state in both? +3. And we can also make the chlorides of boron and aluminum by reacting with oxides of boron, that is the hot boron oxide with charcoal. Heat in the presence of charcoal with the chlorine, then also you can get our BCl3 plus carbon monoxide. We have seen this reaction, carbon monoxide. Same, Al2O3, aluminum oxide in the presence of charcoal. This also, it's hot, very hot. On treating with chlorine, then also we can get our AlCl3 plus carbon monoxide. Okay, so these AlCl3s and that is BCl3, they are very, or they act as Lewis dash. BCl3, AlCl3, if I draw the structure, halides, they still have lone pair empty orbital, right? So they act as Lewis acids. Why Lewis acids? Because they can readily accept the lone pair of electrons from the donor atoms if they are present in the vicinity of them. Okay, then with nitrogen, so boron on treating with nitrogen will form boron nitride. Same with aluminum nitride. There is also another method of preparation to form the nitrides of this, that is boron on treating with ammonia. They also will give us the nitrides of boron and aluminum. And apart from this, what do you expect that which gas should be liberated? I hope you have answered. Which gas? Dash dash, hydrogen gas. Very much evident. Okay, so do remember these reactions. And lastly, with sulfur, boron on heating with the sulfur we find boron sulfides. Same, aluminum on heating with sulfur will form aluminum sulfides. Okay, and in fact, when you talk about the hydrolysis of chlorides, nitrides, and this one, okay, let me write the point here that the halides or chlorides are hydrolyzed by water. Hydrolyzed by water. Fine. And nitrides, for nitrides, water in the form of steam. Nitrides are hydrolyzed by steam, not just water. Water means cold water, but steam means very hot. Okay, so nitrides are hydrolyzed only in the presence of steam. Okay, then when I say hydrolyzed, what do I mean by this? When I react BCl3 with H2O, or when I react AlCl3 with H2O, what do they form? In fact, here itself we have seen the reaction hydrolysis. When we perform BCl3 plus H2O, what do you expect to form? We find the boric acid H3BO3 plus what acid is H2O and BCl HCl. Suppose if you have doubt, like this reaction, if it is not striking to your mind suddenly, which gas is released, look it for aluminum chloride, then also it will be very clear. Aluminum chloride on treating with water, aluminum hydroxide, AlOH thrice, plus what gas should form or what vapors should be released? HCl. Okay, so this is what I mean hydrolysis. Same, nitrides also gets hydrolyzed but in steam, and sulfides, they also gets hydrolyzed by water. Okay, so these are the similarities between the boron and aluminum. Now I have a job for you, a small task, that is, after doing this, sit with a pen and a paper and write all the differences. Okay, either you can see from your book or from the internet or from the reference books, textbook, whatever it is. Just jotted down the differences between boron and aluminum. Similarities I have said, differences is for I want to hear from you. Okay, I want to see the small task done by you. Okay, anyways, if there is any difficulty, anyways I'm going to tell, but I want you to work out at least small things which you can do it by yourself. Okay, don't be lazy, don't have some reason that you are busy or something like that. It hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, sit and make the differences between boron and aluminum. Okay, anyways, so with this, for today we stop. In the next class we'll continue. All right, stay home, stay safe.